We are live from Studio A inside Gaylord College at the University of Oklahoma, ready to talk all things Sooner sports.
And we have OU rowing joining us tonight for an exclusive interview.
Plus, OU football looked to climb old Rocky Top 10 years after Baker Mayfield became a Sooner legend.
I'm your host, Aiden Tyler, and I'm joined by Cam Williams and Hallie McPherson. This is Sooner Sports Pad.
Welcome to Sooner Sports Pad, presented by OU Health. Proud to be Oklahoma's flagship academic health system.
It was an action-packed weekend for OU sports, and the song says that strangers don't come down from Rocky Top. We'll have reports on OU football's attempt at climbing the Tennessee hills. But football's not the only sport we're talking about. OU rowing is here for an exclusive interview. We'll also bring you what you need to know about Sooners whose seasons just started up this week. A day after Halloween, needing a win to stay in playoff talks, OU football looked to climb old Rocky Top. And the scariest costume that Joey Aguilar saw was Owen Heineke. He hits him hard, forces a fumble. R. Mason Thomas picks it up. He's stiff-arming a man, dragging him all the way down the field, puts him down, and he's going to run it in and score, doing it all by himself, ties it up at 7-7. Now in the third quarter, Sooners are down 17-16, but not for long. Xavier Robinson would punch this one in. It's a 4-yard touchdown. Sooners go up 23-16. And in the fourth, Tate Sendell, he had some short pants, but he made some long kicks. Fourth make of the day, second from 55. He was the real MVP. Sooners are up at Xavier Robinson. Goes all the way down the field, goes and drops down at the 1-yard line like Samaje Perine did against OSU. Next play, John Mateer punches it in, silences the Neyland effect. Sooners come down from Rocky Top with a 33-27 win.
Aiden, OU sure did climb to the peak of Rocky Top. It may have been a little clumsy at times, but they got the job done and killed the Vols' playoffs hopes. Sooner Sports Pad reporter Andrew West was there in Neyland Stadium with a scoop on OU's offensive performance.
OU's 33-27 win against Tennessee was the first time since joining the SEC that OU scored more than 30 points against a conference opponent. And while they have to give some credit to the defense and kicker Tate Sendell, who nailed 3 kicks over 50 yards, the offense finally found a way to execute late in the game when it mattered.
I thought we did a great job this week of stressing communication, and they took it out there. They communicated their butts off. I mean, over-communicated. And at the end of the day, they didn't let any moment get too big for them. They played their tails off, and I'm really proud of them.
We didn't score on the first drive, but after that, I feel like we weren't scoring touchdowns, but we were rolling, we were moving the ball and stuff. Going forward, we got to score more touchdowns, but defense and special teams was complimented.
At the end of the day, I thought that on both sides, lines of scrimmage, I felt like that was, one of the biggest differences, in the game and why we won. And Tate Sendell.
I'm just out there with myself in my head and in between my ears, trying to just stay as neutral as possible and just give myself an opportunity. We practice just as much as all the other guys, and our operation time in the game is probably less than a minute. It's just what we got is what we got. We're going to roll with it.
The Sooners are now 2-0 all-time against Tennessee when playing in Knoxville, just 10 years after Baker Mayfield led the Sooners to a win in the exact same stadium. OU now heads into a bye week before heading to Tuscaloosa in 2 weeks to take on Alabama. Reporting from Neyland Stadium, Andrew West, Sooner Sports Pad.
OU's offense was sloppy in the first half and touchdownless, but they did not move the ball enough to get in the field goal range for Sandell, who doesn't miss. After halftime, OU's offense came out alive. Xavier Robinson ended the game with 115 rushing yards and a touchdown. John Mateer had 80 rushing yards along with the touchdown as well.
Yeah, Hallie, going into the Tennessee game, the Sooners forced 4 total turnovers, and Saturday night they almost matched that, forcing 3 in the win as they stifled the #1 offense in the SEC. I was at the game and I have more on OU's defensive performance. The saying, "never stop fighting," was very apparent Saturday night as the Sooners came into Neyland Stadium and forced 3 turnovers in a thrilling 33-27 victory. Owen Heineke, he had a strip sack in the first quarter that R. Mason Thomas returned for a 71-yard touchdown. Robert Spears-Jennings snagged a pick, and Peyton Bowen had one as well. And the Sooners are 20-2 when winning the turnover margin under Brent Venables, but this defensive mastermind is just proud of his group.
So for some people, it's like, oh my gosh, but for us, it's like, no man, we're fine. Calm down. Kind of like the national championship. And our whole deal was to play cover 2 in the freaking first play of the game. Man, they throw a whole shot, man, they go right down the field. So weather the storm. You know, we called a timeout early. Didn't help. They ended up scoring on that touchdown drive on the first drive of the game. You know, but just keep playing. You know, not everything's going to go right. Just keep playing. Just play the next play.
You know, the preparation throughout the week was intense, you know. It was a position that I hadn't been playing a whole bunch of, so I had to make the learning curve pretty steep. But, you know, we got out here, we executed, and the whole defense played really well, and everybody had each other's backs out there. So it's pretty awesome to get a start in an atmosphere like this. It's what you dream about as a kid, so it was awesome.
We got bye week. Are we a one-trick pony? Are we a fly? Like, that's what we tell ourselves. Like, we know we're not, so we got to come back to work on Monday and go harder than we went last Monday.
In 2 weeks, this Sooner defense has a tall task as they face Heisman candidate Ty Simpson and the Tide. Reporting from Neyland Stadium, Cam Williams, Sooner Sports Pad.
The Sooner defense forced those 3 turnovers all in the first half. Kip Lewis and RSJ are some of the names that stood out, but Owen Heineke led the way for this Sooner defense, logging 73 snaps, a team-high 13 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, and a sack, earning SEC Defensive Player of the Week honors for his performance.
Yeah, what a performance it was. Coming up, we'll talk everything Crimson Tide, who are one of the hottest teams in the nation. We'll also give our reactions to the college football playoff poll that just got revealed. Keep it here. Welcome back to Sooner Sports Pad. The Sooners kept their playoff hopes alive with a massive win against Tennessee. Their reward, a week off. OU football is on a bye week, but their opponents next week have a matchup against a squad who has been very underwhelming. The Crimson Tide battle with LSU in a rivalry game called the first Saturday in November. I'm confused, though, because they're playing it on the second Saturday of November this year. Anyways, Alabama has a near 81% chance to win the game, according to ESPN's analytics. LSU has disappointed this year, firing Brian Kelly recently. And with the Crimson Tide offense averaging over 34 points a game, it should be fairly easy work for Alabama. Crimson Tide are explosive. Their quarterback, Ty Simpson, is one of the Heisman frontrunners. After falling week 1 to Florida State, the Tide have looked incredible. Hallie, what is it that they do just so well?
Aiden, like you said, Alabama is the toughest team left on OU's schedule. Quarterback Ty Simpson is one of the best quarterbacks in college football. And with shifty wide receivers like Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams, it will be difficult for OU's defense to shut them down. But South Carolina's defense almost did it. I think OU's can too.
Yeah, Hallie, this Sooner offense has been underwhelming this season, and they had their hands full again in 2 weeks as they face an Alabama defense ranked 4th in opponent first downs, and they had the SEC leader in interceptions with Bray Hubbard, the safety, having 3. I was at SEC Media Days, and the theme with this Bama defense is just sticking to the work.
We got a long way to go before we get to that game, but that'll just be something we'll have to be for when the week comes. We just got to make sure we're prepared the best way when that week comes, and we'll be excited when the game gets here.
And Bama's second-year head coach Kalen DeBoer is pleased so far with his team's commitment to the day in and day out work that it takes to win in the SEC.
I can't tell you how impressed I've been with them just focusing on the main thing, and that's the work. Not getting ahead of themselves, not even worried really about practice number 1, game number 1 for sure, or even further down the road in the season. But when it comes down to what we're focused on, it's the day-to-day work that these guys are really honed in on.
Senior defensive tackle Tim Keenan III isn't worried about the Sooners just yet, as the reoccurring motto of taking things game by game still stands.
Oh, it's one game at a time. First up is FSU and everything like that. And when that time comes, we definitely going to execute the plan. We respect all our opponents. We got to go out there and play.
Now, the first college football playoff rankings just got revealed, and Sooner fans may have to look away. Sooners come in ranked at 12th. The Texas Longhorns ranked at 11th. You see it on your screen right there. Currently, the Sooners would be the second team out of the playoffs. Texas, the first team out, because Virginia, who is ranked outside the top 12, gets an auto bid as an ACC champ, and Memphis, who is unranked, would take the final bid as the best group of 5 team.
Yeah, and a little underwhelming for Sooner fans as they were expecting a top 10 bid tonight.
Yeah, Aiden and Cam, Memphis unranked, that's a little bit surprising, but for Texas, they're definitely going to be out after they see Georgia and A&M, and like you said, for OU, they're going to have to go 3-0.
Yeah, OU with that very, very tough end of the season, but I want to hear from our audience what they think about the Sooners being ranked at number 12 in the first poll in, and I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on that?
OU's too good of a team to be let out of that. Yeah, just way too good of a team.
Well, the Sooners coming in at 12. We'll have to see how they could finish out the 3-game stretch here. And when we come back, Cam and Hallie are going to have a sit-down interview with 2 members of the OU rowing team that you won't want to miss. Stick with us. Welcome back to Sooner Sports Pad. Let's take a break from OU football and dive into another Sooner squad. Welcome this week's guests, OU rowing. The team just finished their fall season, which proved to be a successful one. Elena Karius is a sophomore from Germany. That's a pretty long flight. She raced all 7 regattas as a freshman. Elena Ronning is a senior from St. Louis, Missouri. She also competed in all 7 last season. Cam, Hallie, go ahead.
Thank y'all so much for joining us at Sooner Sports Pad tonight. Now, y'all just finished y'all's fall season in Jersey. Tell us about that experience for your team.
It was a great one. We went out pretty hot and we beat some ranked teams that went to NCAA championships last spring, and we just missed out on a bid last spring, so it was a really big deal for us to come back this fall and kind of surprise people and show them what we've been working on.
Yeah, I fully agree on that. Like, we've worked so hard this fall, and it was just like a great feeling to go out there and like actually see the results after like coming back from the water and be like, yeah, we beat ass.
Now, this is the 2nd season that the SEC has sponsored rowing. Just what does that mean to you?
It's pretty big just because all the effort and funding that the SEC puts into rowing now, going from the Big 12 to the SEC, just every detail that they put into the very first championships, it was very evident, and it definitely means a lot more to us.
Yeah, I guess so. I've never been in a different conference, so I can only speak for like being in SECs. But yeah, it's like in general just very interesting to me how like this American system over here works and how big everything is.
And Elena, you're a senior on this team. What does it take to lead a team?
I think it takes a lot of putting the work into it first and then kind of letting everything else follow. We kind of talk about keeping the main thing, and we always say love the work and love each other. So we always just start with that, and then we kind of find that everything else falls into place.
Now, Elena, you're a sophomore from Germany. Just talk to me about how the transition has been coming to Oklahoma.
Yeah, so I've been rowing for like 8 years already. So it's not like that I came and was like, oh, rowing, wow, something new. But it's just like the system over here is like way bigger, and like people here like go crazy for sports. Like before I came here, people were like, yeah, just expect people will like wave after the bus when you leave for a regatta. And back home it's like, oh, you do rowing? I don't even know what that is. So yeah.
Do you like the food here at all, or what's your favorite fast food place here?
I don't really like fast food. I moved into my own apartment like with my roommates this year, so I like to cook for myself, and yeah, that's way better.
No.
And rowing's a little bit different than the other OU sports here. Just walk us through what a day of practice looks like for y'all.
We usually bus off to practice in the city at either 5:45 or 6 in the morning, and then we usually get back to campus around 9:45, sometimes 10, depending on the traffic or if there's a wreck on I-35. And then we usually have a couple classes, and then either lift and another about 45-minute cardio session on top of that on Tuesday, Thursdays, or practice in the afternoon where it's another like 2 hours of cardio.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck on the rest of your season. Aiden, back to you.
Yeah, OU rowing capped off their fall season over the weekend with a trio of top 10 finishes in Princeton, New Jersey. They'll start up again in March. Thanks for sitting down with us to talk tonight. And when we come back from the break, we'll talk 2 OU teams whose seasons just started, as well as a look into someone the Sooners hope is a superstar here in the near future. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Sooner Sports Pad. Basketball season is officially back. OU has 2 teams with some high hopes. We'll recap their performance from Monday night. We'll also talk another Sooners squad who had a tournament trip to Florida. And then OU men's basketball team opened up their season against St. Francis last night, and it was really a tale of 2 halves. Sooners were only up by 1 point at halftime, 45-44. OU even went down 49-46 early in the second half, but then turned it up. They went on a 32-3 run over a span of 8.5 minutes to pull away. It was sparked by a redshirt freshman, Kuala Tech, who scored 13 points in just over 4 minutes. Sooners win at 102-66 over a St. Francis squad who made the tournament last year. The team says they have to remain headstrong.
I would just say just stay level-headed and keep it going. You know, don't let myself get too high. Don't let myself get too low. You know, we have Gonzaga next, so they're going to be a really good team. So make sure I get mentally locked in and get ready for that.
Aiden, it was a little bit of a similar game for the OU women's basketball game right before that. The Sooners opened up the season hosting Belmont, and it was a sloppy first half for the Sooners going into halftime, 46-34, and Belmont responded quickly after the half and took a 3-point lead over the Sooners. OU's defense sparked up a stop and held Belmont to 4-18 shooting in the final 10 minutes. Sooners win it 84-67. Aaliyah Chavez had 16 points in her debut, and Sooner Sports Pad reporter Michael Thompson has more on the consensus 5-star recruit.
Number 1, it's how Sooner fans describe Oklahoma, and it's the rank of Oklahoma's newest Sooner on the hardwood.
I love coming in, being able to be with my teammates every day and just like practicing with them, having our off days with them. You can have a team that has so much drama, and that's not us.
But drama is what surrounded Aaliyah Chavez as she pledged her commitment to the Sooners last spring.
There's a lot of people that have a lot of opinions on Aaliyah Chavez, and they're not always super positive opinions, but she's won over her team, and because she's an incredible person.
When you're the #1 player in the country, social media becomes your friend, but also your enemy. Chavez had a bullseye on her back throughout her recruitment, but the team is ready for the world to see who she truly is.
Social media can portray people as someone they are not. Aaliyah is an awesome person. She shows up every day. She has the biggest heart. She's a hard worker. She's so kind. She's a great teammate. Like, I could talk about all the basketball things, but everyone sees how good of a player she is, but no one can truly see how good of a person she is.
Care, culture, and coaching from Baranchek led Aaliyah to taking the court in the Crimson and Cream.
She was a great coach. We've had that great connection since she started recruiting me, and I always knew that OU was probably going to be the one I picked. I just needed to see them play in person and to see how many fans came out and watched. I think that's when I realized this is where I want to be.
She could be a future Sooner legend, but for now,
You can tell she's going to be she's already really good, but she's been great for this team. She's normal, and that's not what people want to hear. You know, they want to create a villain or they want to create something, but she's just a normal person.
Aaliyah may be normal, but one thing isn't.
I've seen people that really like the game and really love the game. She loves the game.
#1 in the rankings, #2 on the court, and #3 added to the story. Reporting from the Lloyd Noble Center, Michael Thompson, Sooner Sports Pad.
Thanks, Michael. On the soccer field, the Sooners lost a close one to Mississippi State in the SEC tournament Sunday as the Bulldogs scored on their final shot attempt of the game in the 89th minute to beat the Crimson and Cream 1-0 in Pensacola, Florida. Goalkeeper Caroline Duffy was the star for the Sooners as she had a career-high 10 saves in the loss, and next Monday, the NCAA selection show will take place as the Sooners look for an at-large selection.
Well, when we come back, we'll have another edition of Face Off. Cam and Hallie are tied up. They'll go head-to-head yet again. You won't want to miss it. Welcome back to the show. It's time for Cam and Hallie to go head-to-head. We're all tied up at 3. No more wasting time. Let's break that tie. After scoring 30-plus points in SEC play for the first time since joining the conference, Cam, I've got to know who's taking home your offensive MVP.
Yeah, Aiden, I got to go with Tate Short Pants Sandell. Against the Vols, Sandell was the best offense for the Sooners all night as he went 4 for 4 on field goals, including 2 55-yarders and a 51-yarder, as he set or tied 8 FBS records, and the 2 55-yarders tied a career-long and tied a Neyland Stadium record.
Cam, I'm pretty sure that's a special teams player. He said offensive MVP. Give me Xavier Robinson. He had a second straight 100-yard run game, running for 115 yards and a touchdown on 16 carries. Robinson also had a smart and selfless play at the end of the game, wasting time instead of adding a touchdown to his stats.
I see y'all are already going at it, jabbing at each other. Both solid picks there. Let's flip over to a defense that slowed down the best offense in the SEC. The Sooners had some great performances. Hallie, who was your defensive MVP?
Aiden, there's only one right answer to this question. Owen Heineke took the Vols to the walls. He filled in for Kobe McKenzie and did more than just great. Heineke had 12 tackles by halftime and finished with 13 tackles, 1 sack, and more than 1 tackle for loss. He also forced that fumble that R. Mason picked up for a touchdown.
Hallie, you're wrong. What about the guy who returned the touchdown and stiff-armed an offensive lineman for 20 yards in the process? R. Mason Thomas is the easy choice. And in the first quarter, he returned a fumble by Joey Aguilar, 71 yards to the house, As the Vols were in striking distance and about to go up 2 scores, it's safe to say our Mason saved the season.
Yeah, both those guys were scary for that Tennessee defense the day after Halloween. And I got to say, OU's played in some really weird games this year, nothing ordinary. It's been a season full of surprises. Cam, what shocked you the most about the win in Rocky Top?
Yeah, and it's not quite often you see 2 onside kicks in just a little over a minute of game time, but the Vols tried it twice and Robert Spears-Jennings corralled the first one, and just a little bit after, Ivan Carrion snagged the second to put the Sooners in victory formation.
Aiden, Cam, besides how surprisingly short Sandel's pants were, OU won a night game in Neyland Stadium on Halloween weekend. And on top of that, Tennessee has won 25 straight home games against teams not named Georgia. And that stat alone proves just how hard it is to win in Neyland Stadium.
I see y'all did your research this time around. 3 games remain for the Sooners. They're at Alabama, then they're at home against Missouri, and they close off with senior night against the LSU Tigers. How do y'all think the Sooners are going to close out this final stretch as they look to make a playoff push?
Aiden, it's a tough schedule ahead. And to start that off, OU goes into Tuscaloosa to take on Alabama. And I don't think OU will be upsetting Alabama this season. But then Mizzou and LSU come into Norman, and I think OU closes out their season with back-to-back wins.
Yeah, Hallie, I think the Sooners are going to go 3-0 in the last 3 games. It's a tough schedule ahead, but I think they go into Bryant-Denny Stadium and upset the Tide. They're going to handle business at home versus Mizzou, and they're going to close out the season thrashing a currently unranked LSU squad to finish 10-2 and secure a spot in the college football playoffs.
Well, going 3-0 would most certainly put the Sooners in the playoffs. Going 2-1, Hallie, I don't know. We saw them at 12. It's really, really close. Our audience will decide this week's face-off winner. If you think it was Cam, make some noise. Now, if you think Hallie won, make some noise. One more time for Cam. And now for Hallie. Just as loud as Neyland, but this time it's Cam Williams winning face-off. Thanks for watching Sooner Sports Pad. For Cam Williams and Hallie McPherson, I'm Aiden Tyler. We'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great night, everyone.